Are you tired of overcomplicating simple problems? Do you feel like you're constantly stuck in a loop, trying to find the perfect solution, but only getting more frustrated in the process? Well, it's time to face the truth. Perfection is the enemy of progress. In this video, we are throwing out the idea that there's one perfect answer to every problem and embracing the power of practical, no-nonsense solutions. I'm going to challenge the way you think about problem solving and show you why the simplest answers are often the most effective. If you're ready to stop spinning your wheels and start tackling life's everyday challenges with confidence, keep watching, because the tools I'm about to share with you will change the way you approach your most frustrating issues forever. Trust me, you won't want to miss this. Number 1. Embrace imperfection. Why striving for perfection is your biggest barrier. You know what's crazy? Perfection is actually holding you back. I know, it sounds a little counterintuitive, but stick with me. You've probably heard it 1,000 times. Do your best. Give 100%. If you're not perfect, you're failing. But here's the truth. Striving for perfection is probably one of the biggest barriers to getting things done. Yeah, you heard that right. Now you might be thinking, wait, aren't we supposed to aim for perfection? Well, I'll let you in on a little secret. Perfection is a trap. We've all been there, right? The constant loop of tweaking, adjusting, and rethinking. The endless revisions, whether it's a project at work, a conversation you keep replaying in your head, or even the simplest things like an email you've been staring at for an hour. You know that feeling when you can't help but think, it's almost there, just one more adjustment and it'll be perfect. But here's the kicker, it's never actually perfect, and in the process, you're draining your energy, your time, and your creativity. Perfection is an illusion, and the more you chase it, the further it gets. So here's the strategy I'm talking about. Embrace imperfection. I know, it sounds like some motivational guru nonsense. But hear me out. Perfectionism isn't about striving for excellence. It's about fear. Fear of judgment, fear of failure, fear of not being good enough. And when you operate from that place, you start to let fear control you, which means you're stuck in inaction. The real power comes when you start accepting that things don't have to be flawless to be valuable or to move forward. Imperfection, in fact, is often what makes things unique and human. Let me give you an example. A few months ago, I was working on a project at the office that I needed to be perfect. I was tweaking every little detail, down to the last pixel of an image. Days went by, and all I had to show for it was a small, incomplete version of what I envisioned. I was so fixated on getting every part of it just right that I couldn't finish it. Finally, after weeks of stress, I decided to stop. Just stop. I released the version that felt good enough, and guess what? It was a huge success. People loved it, flaws and all. If I'd kept waiting for perfection, I would have missed out on the chance to make a real impact. What I realized, and what you can too, is that embracing imperfection isn't about lowering your standards. It's about removing the crippling pressure to make everything perfect and allowing room for growth. When you stop fearing imperfection, you actually start doing the work. You'll feel freer, lighter, and more confident in what you're putting out into the world. This isn't about settling. It's about releasing the unnecessary weight of impossible expectations and trusting that progress is far more important than perfection. In the end, it's your space, your peace, and your dignity that's on the line here. You owe it to yourself to let go of the illusion that perfection is the goal. Your value isn't determined by how perfect you are. It's determined by your courage to show up, do the work, and keep moving forward, even if it's not flawless. So, next time you're stuck in the perfectionism trap, remember, perfection is your biggest barrier to success. Let go, embrace the mess, and watch the magic happen. Number 2, reject overthinking. Why more information will only hurt you. Here's the truth. You're drowning in information. And guess what? It's not helping you, it's hurting you. Yeah, I said it. You know that feeling when you're about to make a decision, but instead of taking action, you dive deeper into research, reading more articles, watching endless videos, and seeking one more opinion just to get it right. You're stuck in a loop of overthinking, and let me tell you, more information is not the answer. Now, I know you're probably thinking, but I just want to be sure. I don't want to make a mistake. I get it. We all want to make the best choice, but trust me on this. The more you know, the harder it gets to make that decision. We've all been there. You have a simple task in front of you. Maybe it's picking a vacation spot, buying a new gadget, or making a life-changing choice. And instead of feeling confident, you feel paralyzed. You search for more data, read reviews, ask friends, Google everything, and suddenly the task has grown into something massive. You go from feeling empowered to feeling overwhelmed. You're spinning your wheels, running in circles, and not getting anywhere. The truth is, we're so afraid of making the wrong decision that we think more information will somehow solve the problem. But it doesn't. It just keeps you stuck. So here's the strategy. Reject overthinking. It might sound crazy, but bear with me. The more information you gather, the more your brain becomes paralyzed by choices, possibilities, and what-ifs. There's a psychological reason for this. It's called choice overload, and it's the reason you can't decide between two seemingly simple options. The more you know, the more you begin to see risks, doubts, and alternative paths, until nothing seems like the right choice. What you really need is a way to cut through the noise and just make a decision. Let me tell you about a time I put this into practice. A while ago, I was trying to decide whether to invest in a new piece of tech for work. It was an expensive decision, and I couldn't stop researching. I watched review after review, compared specs, asked for opinions, and still felt unsure. Days passed, and I had not made a single move. I was trapped in my own analysis paralysis. Finally, I decided to do something radical. I closed all the tabs, turned off my phone, and simply sat with the decision. I thought, what do I really need right now? I went with my gut, purchased the tech, and you know what? It was the right choice. All the time I spent researching had only added to my stress. I could have saved that time by trusting my instincts sooner. This is about reclaiming your time, your peace, and your mental clarity. Overthinking isn't about making better decisions. It's about avoiding the discomfort of making the wrong one. But here's the truth. Every decision involves some level of risk. And more information, it doesn't eliminate the risk. It just makes the decision-making process more exhausting. So, the next time you find yourself spiraling into an information abyss, stop. Trust your judgment. Take action. You don't need to know everything. Remember, your peace of mind, your time, and your energy are worth more than the endless pursuit of perfect information. When you let go of overthinking, you're showing yourself respect. It's not about being reckless, it's about trusting yourself enough to make a choice and move forward. So, take that step, make that decision, and remember, less is more. Number 3, limit your choices, the power of saying no to options. Here's a wild idea. Limit your choices and watch your life get better. I know it sounds like a paradox, right? You've probably heard the saying, the more choices, the better, and it seems to make sense. But trust me, too many choices can actually make you less happy, more stressed, and less productive. Now, you might be thinking, wait, if I limit my options, doesn't that mean I'm restricting myself? Yes, it does. And that's the point. Trust me on this. Sometimes the best thing you can do for yourself is say no to endless options. We've all been there. You're in a store trying to pick a simple shirt. You walk into the aisle and there are 30 different colors, 15 styles, and endless sizes. You look at one shirt, then at another, and another, until you start wondering if you even need a shirt at all. It's overwhelming. Or maybe you've spent hours online trying to choose between two similar phone models, only to end up frustrated, unsure, and still phoneless. The truth is, having too many choices doesn't make us feel empowered. It paralyzes us. We get stuck in the what-if game. What if there's a better option out there? What if I make the wrong choice? So here's the idea. Limit your choices on purpose. Now, before you roll your eyes and think this is some self-help nonsense, hear me out. There's a psychological phenomenon called the paradox of choice. It's the idea that when we have too many options, we actually feel less satisfied with our decisions, not more. The brain becomes overwhelmed by all the possibilities, and that sense of control we think we have evaporates. Instead of feeling empowered, we feel anxious. Limiting your options gives you clarity, focus, and the freedom to make a decision without that constant feeling of being lost in a sea of choices. Let me give you a personal example. A few months ago, I was shopping for a new laptop. Sounds simple, right? But I ended up spending days, yes, days, comparing different models, reading reviews, watching videos, and getting more confused by the minute. I could have easily made a decision, but I kept thinking, what if I'm missing something? Finally, I decided to limit myself. Only 3 options. That was it. No more scrolling through endless pages. I picked one, and you know what? It was the right choice. Not because it was the best laptop ever made, but because I made the decision with confidence. I stopped overthinking and embraced the freedom of having fewer choices. Here's the thing. This isn't about cutting yourself off from opportunities. It's about reclaiming your time, your energy, and your peace of mind. When you limit your choices, you stop wasting mental energy on things that don't really matter. You start making decisions faster, with less second-guessing and more confidence. And that's powerful. You're telling yourself that your time is too valuable to spend it agonizing over every little decision. You're saying, I trust myself enough to choose, and I'm okay with that. So next time you find yourself staring at 50 options and feeling like you're about to lose your mind, remember, you have the power to say no to all that chaos. Limit your choices, and you'll free up mental space for the things that really matter. It's your space, your peace, and your dignity on the line. Take back control by embracing simplicity. The best decisions don't come from endless options. They come from clarity, confidence, and trust in your own ability to choose. Number 4, fail fast, learn faster. The secret to accelerating growth. Here's a secret that no one tells you. Failure is your best friend. No, seriously. The faster you fail, the faster you'll grow. Now, I know what you're thinking. How can failing ever be a good thing? It's not about failure being fun. It's about how quickly you can bounce back, learn, and adjust. Trust me on this. Failing fast isn't about making mistakes for the sake of it. It's about using those mistakes as fuel to accelerate your growth. You've probably been in a situation where you hesitated, second-guessed yourself, or put something off because you wanted to make sure it was perfect. Maybe you've been stuck in analysis paralysis, wondering if you'll fail if you take action too soon. We've all been there. We want to get it right, so we avoid risks and try to make sure everything aligns perfectly. But here's the thing. Waiting around for that perfect moment only guarantees one thing: stagnation. Nothing moves forward until you embrace the uncomfortable reality of taking action, failing, and learning from it. So here's the strategy. Fail fast. Let go of the idea that failure is something to fear. Instead, Think of it as the quickest path to mastery. When you fail, you learn something you can't get from textbooks or advice. You get real experience. The faster you fail, the faster you discover what works and what doesn't, and that accelerates your growth in ways you never imagined. Think of failure like a shortcut. The more you fail and learn, the quicker you get to where you want to be. Let me share a quick story with you. A few years ago, I was working on a project that I was so excited about. I spent months planning, perfecting, and making sure everything was just right. When the day finally came to launch, I hit a wall. The project didn't go as planned. I was crushed. But here's where the magic happened. I took a step back, reassessed, and learned from every mistake I made along the way. Instead of giving up, I failed fast, fixed what went wrong, and made adjustments for next time. A few weeks later, I launched again, this time with more confidence and a clearer vision. The results were night and day. It was the failures I embraced that led to my biggest successes. This is about reclaiming your growth and understanding that failure doesn't make you less than, it makes you more. It's about stopping the cycle of perfectionism and embracing progress over perfection. If you're not failing, you're not trying. And if you're not trying, you're not growing. Every failure is a lesson that propels you forward, faster than you could ever imagine. So, next time you're faced with a decision, remember, it's better to fail fast than to stay stuck in what-ifs and maybes. Embrace the discomfort of learning, failing, and adjusting. Your growth isn't waiting for you to get it perfect. It's waiting for you to act, fail, learn, and keep going. The quicker you fail, the quicker you succeed. And with every failure, you're not just getting closer to your goals. You're becoming the person who can handle anything that comes their way. Number 5, live without boundaries, break the mold of conventional work and life. What if I told you that the life you've been striving to live, the one that's full of structure, deadlines, and expectations, might actually be holding you back? Now, you might be thinking, wait, I need structure to get things done, right? Yes, trust me, I get it. But here's the catch. Sometimes the boundaries we put in place around work and life are the very things keeping us from reaching our fullest potential. Imagine what would happen if you started to break those boundaries. Think about it. How many times have you found yourself trapped in the grind, following routines, ticking off tasks, and waiting for the next big thing to happen? We've all been there. We've all followed the path that's supposed to lead to success, only to realize it's not fulfilling. You know the type, the 9-to-5 that feels more like a cage than a career, or those well-meaning plans we make only to feel like we're not really living, but simply existing. Now, I'm not saying that routines and structure are inherently bad, but what if we could live outside the box, embrace fluidity, and create a life where the rules are defined by what makes us feel alive and fulfilled, not what society has outlined? Imagine stepping outside the conventional limits of work and life, finding freedom to explore passions, make mistakes, and grow without being shackled to someone else's vision of success. This isn't about quitting your job or throwing out everything you've built. It's about reframing how you view success, purpose, and happiness. Here's the kicker. Breaking the mold starts with recognizing that those boundaries you've set aren't always necessary. I'll give you an example from my own life. I used to feel trapped by my routine. Every day felt the same. I knew the to-do list, I had the deadlines, and everything was supposed to be in a nice, neat box. But one day, I realized I was living by someone else's script, not my own. So, I decided to break a few rules. I took time for creative exploration, even when it didn't fit into my tightly packed schedule. I allowed myself to work at my own pace, taking longer breaks and avoiding the constant rush. At first, it felt uncomfortable, almost rebellious. But what followed was a sense of freedom I hadn't experienced in years. I found new passions, better connections, and a deeper sense of fulfillment. This isn't about abandoning responsibility or throwing structure out the window. It's about recognizing that we have the power to live in a way that feels authentic to us, not just what's expected. It's about shedding the shoulds and embracing the wants. By creating space for what truly matters, you're giving yourself the opportunity to thrive emotionally and mentally. You're reclaiming your time, your energy, and your well-being. Living without boundaries isn't about being reckless, it's about living intentionally. It's about asking yourself, what makes me feel alive? And daring to say yes to those things, even when they seem unconventional or messy. It's about creating a life where you're in control, where work and life aren't separate spheres, but an integrated whole that brings you joy. So, next time you feel the weight of external expectations, remember, you don't have to follow the mold. Break free from the box. Create a life that blends your work and passions, your routines and freedom, in a way that feels uniquely yours. Your life, your rules, your space, your peace, your power. Number 6. Unplug to reconnect. Disconnect from digital distractions to solve real-world problems. What if I told you that the key to solving your biggest problems might not lie in adding more tasks to your to-do list, but in taking something away? Yes, trust me on this. The answer could be as simple as unplugging for a bit. Now, I know what you're probably thinking. How is stepping away from my phone or laptop going to help me solve real problems? It sounds counterintuitive, right? But trust me, disconnecting from the digital world might just be the best thing you can do for your life, your relationships, and your mind. You've probably been there, scrolling endlessly through social media, checking emails for the 100th time, and juggling notifications from all corners of your digital life. It's exhausting. We've all felt it. That nagging sense of being constantly on, as if we're always just a click away from a new crisis or opportunity. You know the type, the one who feels anxious if their phone is out of reach for 5 minutes. It's like we've become addicted to the noise. But here's the thing, this constant digital overload isn't just distracting, it's preventing us from being fully present and solving the real problems in our lives. Now, I'm not saying you should throw away your phone or ditch the internet entirely. That would be a bit extreme. But what if I told you that taking intentional breaks from the digital world could be the secret weapon you need to start making real progress? The strategy is simple. Unplug, even if it's just for a little while. When we disconnect from the constant stream of digital distractions, our brains can actually focus better. We become more creative, more grounded, and more capable of tackling problems with a fresh perspective. Let me give you an example from my own life. Not long ago, I found myself stuck on a big project. Every time I hit a roadblock, my instinct was to dive into my phone and search for answers or inspiration. But the more I scrolled, the less clarity I found. It wasn't until I stepped away, took a walk without my phone, gave myself some breathing space, that I finally came up with the solution I'd been looking for. Without the pressure of constant notifications, my brain was free to think, to process, to solve. It was like I'd been suffocating under the weight of digital noise, and taking a step back gave me the room to breathe again. Here's the thing. Unplugging doesn't just help you solve problems more effectively, it also improves your emotional and mental well-being. When we disconnect, we create space for peace. We reclaim our focus and energy, things that are so easily drained by constant digital interaction. We stop feeling like we're racing against time, and instead, we start feeling like we're in control of our own pace. This is about taking back control of your time, your energy, and your sanity. It's about being more present with yourself, the people you care about, and the tasks that truly matter. So the next time you feel overwhelmed by the digital world, remember this. You don't have to be constantly plugged in to get ahead. Disconnect for a moment. Reconnect with yourself, your goals, and your real-life problems. Your mind will thank you, and the solutions you've been searching for might just come flooding in. It's time to unplug, recharge, and start solving the real problems on your terms, your space, your peace, and your clarity. Thank you so much for watching. I really hope this video gave you some helpful insights into tackling everyday challenges with pragmatic solutions. If you found it valuable, don't forget to give it a thumbs up. It really helps out. And if you want more content like this, be sure to subscribe so you never miss an update. If you know someone who could benefit from these tips, go ahead and share this video with them. Let's spread the word and help others find simple, effective solutions to their problems. I'd love to hear your thoughts, so drop a comment below and let me know how you've tackled challenges in your own life. We can all learn from each other's experiences, so let's keep the conversation going. Remember, no matter what obstacles come your way, you have the power to find practical solutions. Stay empowered, and I'll see you in the next video. Keep striving for progress, not perfection.